Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Good News and Interviews with Forrest Lee. Tonight we have a special guest with us, Vimal Patel. He's running for the Democratic nomination for the 2nd Congressional District for the
hard to come out, huh?
for the United States House, Alabama District 2. I want to wish you the best of luck, and thank you for coming on the show. Mm-hmm. And our sidekick to your left is who? I missed
This is Hilton Morgan.
Hilton Morgan. Mm-hmm. And a little bit of the history. I taught 1 year at Goshen, then I went 9 years to Georgia, and they lured me back to Charles Henderson Middle School, and I had 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and Vimal was in the 8th grade many, many moons ago. I had him for physical education, and I've taught thousands and thousands of students. I cannot begin to tell you.
Oh, yeah.
And about a year ago, I was eating lunch with a fraternity brother in Enterprise. I believe it was Annie's downtown Enterprise, and we're sitting at a table. And I said, I taught that kid. So I called your number, and you called me back later, and that's kind of how we met. And then I called you later about coming on the show, and here we are. Let's talk about your family. Yep. Where were you born?
Yeah, so I was born in Boonville, Indiana. Now, I didn't spend a lot of time there. My father built his first hotel here in Troy, and so I'm pretty proud about that move because let me tell you, it gets cold up north.
Well, how old were you when you moved to Troy?
I was 9.
9 years old. So you were in Indiana for about 8 years?
Yes, sir.
Where is Boonville? Where is it near? Is it near Indianapolis or?
Close to Evansville,
okay.
Evansville, Indiana. Yep.
That's kind of up there. Is that near the lakes?
You know, I don't remember too much about it. Okay. I remember the cold. I remember going to school, and I remember when you used to slip and fall, boy, that would hurt.
Okay.
I did not miss that at all. I don't miss those icicles. I don't miss that snow. None of that.
Yeah. Well, who are your parents and siblings and your wife and daughter?
Great. So, my father's name is Praveen Patel. My mother is Pragnaben Patel. They moved here back in 1994. I have an older sibling named Rohit, who's a doctor down in Gainesville. And then I have a wife named Nikita and my daughter who's Anya, and she's 9 years old.
Okay, well, good. Well, first of all, the election is tomorrow, and it will cover District 2. It covers 15 counties, and I'll name those for the audience. We have most of Montgomery County. We have Watauga, Barber, Bullock, Butler, Coffee, Kanaka, Covington, Crenshaw, Dale, Elmore, Geneva, Henry, Houston, and Pike. And it covers almost 11,000 square miles. So I imagine you've been filling up the car and going here and yonder.
Yeah, we put a few miles on the car. Yeah, we put a few.
So your election tomorrow, you'll be facing a lady by the name of Phyllis Harvey Hall.
That's correct.
And I believe she's from Evergreen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What would you say your platform would be, or some of the key issues that you think are relevant and important to District 2?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, I'll tell you, the counties that you labeled out, it's a lot easier sometimes to explain like where the cities are. So we start up from Prattville, and we go all the way down to Dothan, and then we touch Enterprise, Andalusia, and Eufaula. So the main thing I try to tell people is that before we look at the platform, we need to look at what exposure the candidate has to all these cities. We have businesses in all of them, which give us a good footprint on what's going on, what's important for each of them, and we keep a good base for that. Some of the main key platform issues, and I think you'll appreciate this, Coach, is education. Education reform is something we might be a few decades behind. I think when you came here, it's probably about the first time I remember hearing the word proration.
Right.
It's a bewildering word, and when you start investigating or looking more and more into it, you feel like America is far better than this word. We need to do something about this word.
And I think now, as far as education is concerned, this is, from my take, the watering down of the educator, the person who's teaching, because the requirements aren't as strict as what they are. It's like the college degree in the field of that particular area is not. There's a way to do the not the adaptive route. That's not the word I'm hunting, but there's a track that you could take if you went to college and were a college graduate. Then you can take maybe 1 or 2 classes and take the praxis or a test in that subject area. Boom, you're ready to teach.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to when I went to school, say for example in physical education, I learned whole part whole. You learned about the psychology, educational foundation. You learned about the sport and how to break it down, and how to teach it, and then you teach the basics, the skills, and then you let them practice the skills. Of course, they learn the history and the terminology and all that, and let them play, and then. But you know,
which touches on a fantastic subject. You know, when we talk about our teachers, and I hate to put Hilton. Hilton is my communications director, and I hate to put him on the spot, but would you like to talk a little bit about your wife and what she does?
Yeah, my wife will be celebrating our 7th year anniversary here in July. I had to think about it for a moment, but you know, she's an educator, and she teaches kindergarten and enterprise at Brookwood Elementary. So she's been doing that. If I'm not mistaken, this is either her 9th or I think it's her 9th year, because she graduated in 2012. So yeah, she's an educator, and I kind of get to see, you know, firsthand on, like, you know, some of the things that need improvement, and a few discrepancies and things that could probably make, you know, the classroom more of an engaging environment as far as she's concerned.
We've got to have it. When we talk about these platform issues, which number one is education, we've got to get input from the people who are actually out there in the front lines when it comes to our educators. I think all too often our politicians try to craft solutions to problems they have zero exposure towards, maybe even something I would call negative exposure, Coach. You know, when you start thinking in terms of voting blocks or what a policy decision from your political party says before you think about what the people are saying, it's completely antithesis to what Congress was designed for. We designed Congress to put us out into D.C., representing the people here and taking them to D.C. So when you look at my team are a bunch of people who are at the front line. We don't have a lot of political experience. When I look at our political resumes, they're not good. They're not very good. And I think we've been called out on this before too. Tell me about your experience in regards to politics in terms of the political position you're seeking. And I tell them, please, I don't want it. I don't
got none. Don't want none.
Ain't got none.
I don't want to work for the people.
Don't want none. You know, that's a tassel that I'm okay with not having. But now I will tell you, I'm a political science degree out of Auburn, so I have just enough exposure to get the things done that we need to get done in D.C. And the number one thing is forming that kind of team that's out there in the front lines and that knows what's happening.
So you're graduated from
Auburn University.
And then in high school was Charles Henderson.
That's
What
right.
year did you graduate?
2002.
I want to ask you this, talking
Yeah.
about educators. Who are some educators that you had in high school or middle school, whatever, that had an impact on your life?
Oh, there's quite a few.
Including you, Coach, right?
Number one, there's those scars run deep, Coach. We ran a lot of laps. We tried to run a lot of laps.
I just had you for 1 year. But go ahead. I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I'll tell you, we had a great group, and that was a different time. That was a time where they may have been empowered a little bit more than they are today. And you know, I'll start with Miss Jennings. You remember Darlene Jennings?
Okay.
And you know, her daughter and I went to school together. We both graduated together. But Darlene, Miss Jennings, was my journalism teacher. She was my speech teacher. So if the speeches that you hear are you just like, I'm not so sure about these, I'll send you her contact information. You can give her a quick call or a text. Drama, and what I'll tell you beyond all that is the way that she taught. She had what you call empathy. She was able to relate to the person, to the student. And
Was that Miss Jennings? Okay.
yeah, that was Miss Jennings. And so to this day, you know, I'll say that she crafts or she shapes a lot of how I view things.
Okay. Then you attended Auburn University and your degree was?
political science.
Okay. And I read a little bit of your bio off the internet. So when you graduated from Auburn, you decided you had two thoughts, either law school or helping you and your family, whether your family business.
Yep, yeah.
And you chose the latter, I believe.
It was a tough call. I even took the LSAT. I think I did okay on the LSAT. Got a few schools that were very interested in giving me admission towards the legal degree. But, I'll tell you, it was 2008, and I'm so glad because before the recession happened, I made the decision to come back into the family business, which my father built a few hotels back when you could build a hotel and it didn't cost, $300 a square foot. Which is a whole different issue we should talk about when we get to that. But, and so that's the route that I went, and I'm glad I did. Politics, when we were growing up, you kind of had to need a legal degree to get involved with public service, and I think that's really changed. I think we are now acknowledging that we may want people who have more of a business savvy involved with these offices. So even if you look at a lot of the candidates that I see out there, they have a business background.
When you mentioned education, what's another key issue that's facing our district and the state of Alabama? Some more issues that you are concerned about that you think needs addressing?
Yeah, and the second key platform issue for us has always been small business. I think we talked a little bit about that before this show started, that, as a small business champion, as a small business guy, I'm not so sure I'm represented by anybody right now. So what we always maintained, and what I asked Hilton, is that when we win this office, one of the first things we need to do is dedicate personnel that's in our office to be proactive in reaching out to these small businesses. So that's a lot of words, and you're thinking, well, what exactly does that mean? One quick example, the coronavirus. And I don't want to talk about this, trust me. I think we're all sick and tired of talking about this.
It's coming back.
It is.
It's starting to come back.
The
pockets.
Yep. The state of Alabama released a grant that applied to any small business. You can apply for it, and you can get some money to help you out. But a lot of the real small businesses that are not talked about, they're working. Those folks, they're working from morning to night, all day, every day, and they don't have a lot of time to do that kind of research. So they're kind of at the whims of, will that information come across to them? And if you know anything about our government, and I'm applying for a job in the government, but it's not the most efficient. So, disseminating that information isn't readily available. So I think a lot of folks just didn't know about it. They just didn't know. Now imagine how much money would come back to our district if the programs that are in place, our folks know about it.
Right. Well, when you say small business, what's affecting small business now? Fuel prices. If they're in the food business, the price of food is escalating. Inflation. I mean, we are in I think it's just started. I mean, I filled up a little over 8 gallons yesterday, and it cost about $40. So, and
Sounds
that's
about
just
right.
Going back and forth to your business and all that kind of stuff. So we've got education, small business. What's another key issue facing our district and the state that concerns you?
Yeah, you want to elect, or you want to nominate and elect somebody who is very clear and proud to say, hey, we have Fort Rucker. We've got to have somebody who's going to advocate for our military. That's a hard thing to say. That's a hard thing to understand. But you got to have somebody who knows that that's a key thing. It's a key thing for our economy. It's a key thing for our defense.
Is Maxwell Air Force Base in our district too?
It is.
Then you've got Lockheed. You've got Sikorsky.
Yep.
You got other key factors as it relates to the military and national defense. That's very important to the Wiregrass and to this area of
And for
Alabama.
our country, right? And for our country. So sometimes, and I think that leads to a great third platform issue, which I don't know if you can really call it a platform issue, but it feels like our two first and second amendment, there seems to be a political war taking place for them. And we need to elect more people who are going to say, wait, we don't want this to be a political football, the First and Second Amendments.
Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk more with Vima Patel. The election is tomorrow. Please go out and vote. I believe the polls open at 7 o'clock, and they close at 7.
That's right.
And we'll be back after these messages.
Want a new Ram or Jeep? Bring it. But you have no credit or bad credit? Bring it. We say yes. Bring it to Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and Troy. Right now, save up to $10,000 on Rams and Grand Cherokee. Shop PremierTroy.com during our Bring It sale. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Brundage Building Supply and Paint Center at Jackson Hardware. 120 years and counting of real customer service with a smile and a heartfelt thank you for visiting with us. PPE, lumber, paint, building supply and roofing, guns, ammunition, American-made items, and oh, by the way, hardware.
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy Paint and Body, where we do it right the first time. Our staff has more than 100 years combined experience and can handle repairs and paint work on any make or model. We also offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own your vehicle. Now that shows we stand behind our work. And our 24-hour towing service means we're here when you need us. So come see us at Troy Paint and Body, located on South Brundage Street in Troy beside the post office. Troy Paint and Body, where we may meet by accident, but you'll be glad we did.
Welcome back to Good News and Interviews with Forrest Lee. We have Vimal Patel and Mr.
Hilton Morgan.
Hilton Morgan. I want to mention a couple of sponsors. Ladies and gentlemen, last week I went to Whaley Pecans, bought some pecans, and yesterday morning I cooked 2 pecan pies, 2 skillet pecan pies.
Where's ours?
And I didn't know who I was going to give them to. Well, Bart Snyder, longtime educator, is retiring this Thursday. He received a pie, had another in the back seat of the car, went to the Old Barn Restaurant, another sponsor. Well, we're leaving. I left the pie in the car. We're leaving, and I saw Jimmy Norman. And so Jimmy and Martha Norman received the other skillet pie. And but anyway, want to mention Campbell's Produce. About 4:30, I went to Campbell's, or this afternoon went to Campbell's Produce, bought some squash, new potatoes, tomatoes, cucumbers, cabbage, and I had all that ready for Jody. Got it started about 5, got through about 5:30. And I made some skillet cornbread. So that's what Jody's going to start. I hope there's some left when I get home. And I want to thank Dan and Buck Campbell for their sponsorship. And last week, in Jody's jewelry box, she had 4 watches that weren't working. Well, I carried on to Douglas Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Douglas Brothers has been in business for 150 years. So Sheer Qualls fixed 2 of the 4.
Yeah.
He's fixing another one. He said this other one, he said, just hold off on it. So 3 of the 4 watches, Sheer Qualls, is fixing from Douglas Brothers. And, of course, Bird's Drugs, love those folks over there. Mr. Joe,
good food.
Great sponsor. And I try to treat the ladies real nice, so I gave Mr. Qualls a rum cake that I made.
Oh, man.
And then the next day, I carried a couple of pies, one for the Deli Girls, pecan pies, and a pecan pie for Miss Melanie Sanders Hawkins. She's the other pharmacist there. So I like spreading the love, so to speak. And
just let us know what we can do to get on that pecan pie list.
we'll have a victory pie. How about
Okay, that sounds
We're
good.
going to hold you to this, Coach.
Okay, all right. Hey, you got my number.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, we have Vimal Patel, and he's up for election tomorrow on the Democratic ticket. Let's talk about some of your not businesses, but some of the organizations that you support, that you've supported in your career while you've been in the Dothan Enterprise area.
Very blessed to have a lot of leadership opportunities and experiences with organizations in Dothan. So I think the first one was the Rotary Club, Dothan Tuesday Rotary Club out of Dothan. You know, what happened is I love my father. I share my life with my father. We share an office. We share a house. I mean, we share a lot. I think I've gotten a lot from him. He worked every day since he immigrated in 1980. And when he retired, I think it was just so much work that we may have lost an ability to get more involved with the community. So the first thing I did was I reached out to Rotary International and I said, hey, I want to be involved with the Rotary Club. This is when I was about 32, 33. Okay. And they sent me an email back saying, hey, here's your two clubs that are in Dothan. They reached out to me. I started going, and it's been very, very, very rewarding experience. I'm in leadership there. Yep. Okay. And so then it kind of opened up a few other things, because, you know, it's one of those, the more you get involved, the more you have the opportunity. So since then, I've joined the boards for the Exchange Center, the Alzheimer's Resource Center, the Wiregrass Museum of Art, and the Alzheimer folks actually asked me to be the face of their walk last year. This was right before the qualification for the seat that I'm running in right now. And so I put this to the side. I realized that mixing these two things is a terrible idea, and I just put it to the side, and I just put the campaign to the side. And we had a goal of $100,000 to reach, which is a big goal. That's a big goal to get.
Huge, yeah.
We had gotten to $96,000. We had a little road bump, little obstacle, and I did a phone a friend. I did a phone a friend to Choice Hotels International. Now, my father's built multiple Choice hotels, and I called him and I said, guys, I said, look, if there's ever been a time to reward a grant to a licensee, this is it. Yeah, and lo and behold, they came through and they issued a $5,000 grant to us for the Alzheimer's Resource Center to get us over the finish line.
Well, in relation to that, you know, my mother-in-law, you know, had dementia, and that was a tough battle for her. But her family, you know, she has two daughters, Marilyn, Gilliland in Georgia, then my wife Jody. And that's a heartbreaking thing to watch your loved one go through the things that they go through. And that's a tremendous thing that that organizations can do to help promote the cure and the support for such a disease. What are some other things that you've been a member that you've helped with?
And I think it's important, you know, we've got to work towards these solutions. We're so divided about so many things that it stops us from being able to be united on things. When it comes, go ahead.
We don't want another 9/11 to unite us. Let's unite. You know, have differences, but at the same time, let's go for the common goal. And we're it's like a covey of quails. If you say, for lack of better words, Democrat, if you say Republican, it's always about downing the other person. And but go ahead about unity.
And I'll tell you, I felt it. You know, I tell people, if you think I'm a good talker, I'm a much better listener. I've spent a lot of time listening these last 6 months, and you can feel it out there. You know, there's a lot of want for us to elect non-career politicians, and that's what I started the whole campaign. If you look at my Facebook page, which is a good opportunity to tell people about the Facebook page, Vimal Patel for Congress. Okay. Go on there, follow the page. You'll learn more about me than any website that you see or anything else that you hear, because that's me. That's me posting what we're doing, where we're at, why we're doing what we're doing. And I'll tell you, that's the resonating factor that we want to elect somebody that looks outside of party lines, that look outside of these topics, and wants to build consensus to move forward together. That's been a message from day one. And it's what the most awesome part about this is when you hear that your message is resonating with other candidates, because that's what's important. What's important is that we've all got to make sure we are nominating and electing people that want to bring us together. Together is the key phrase there, the key word.
Well, here's something I wanted to mention. I downloaded some information about you. I want to read this for the audience to hear. because he's the type of person that's not going to toot his own horn, but I'm going to toot it for him, so to speak. It says, when the COVID-19 pandemic was declared in 2020, Patel took the opportunity again to lead from the front. Before any announcement of the PP funding, Patel assured his staff that they would have food on the table. He did not cut any jobs or hours and provided care beyond recommendations while respecting individual rights and liberties. Patel spent time at all businesses helping all departments from the front line. So, from what I've read and what I've seen and heard, you want to serve others. It's right here in his resume, the things that he's done on the Alzheimer's Resource Center, Wiregrass Museum for Art, Planning and Zoning Commission, Exchange Center for Child Abuse Prevention, and the Saliba Family Services Center. So it's all about, it's not about Vimal Patel, it's about his constituents, everyone, not just, the entire District 2 and beyond the state of Alabama and beyond that to the United States of America, but specifically District 2 and the needs and wants of them.
And a team, and you should, this team of mine, it's become almost, I think I want to use the word organic, where you feel like it has a life of its own outside of me, which is unbelievable. It's unbelievable to see that, okay, in a whole different city, there's a campaign event that's taking place that I'm not even at. That's how fired up my folks are. So when we talk about Vimal Patel's campaign, in my head, I'm always thinking about the hundreds. We almost have hundreds of people. This is going to sound so bad on air. This is going to sound terrible. But sometimes we have so much support, I forget until they text me and say, hey, this is going on. And I'm like, oh my God, let's get this ball rolling. It's unbelievable the amount of support that we have, nonpartisan support. Like if you look at our tapestry of support, it goes every demographic, it goes every ideology. It's been very rewarding to see that this is possible. If we win this nomination tomorrow, what we're telling people is that, you don't have to be this, that. You don't have to get into these boxes of labels. That's been a big part of this platform, is these labels. We label each other, and we make ourselves this one thing, this one box, and there you are. And I think we're better than that. I think all of us are better than that. We're all so much more beautiful than that, than to just label us.
Right. And not one stick of mud has been slung. He's not said the first negative thing about Ms. Hall, his, the person that he's running against, and his goal is to win, the Democratic nomination tomorrow, and from there's a next step to follow. And
it comes from a place of respect. I'll tell you, this campaigning, and when we won our last endorsement, we won an endorsement from a huge group out of Montgomery, and Hilton was the one that told me. He said, "Vimal, man, you look a little tired. I want you to take tomorrow and just recharge." And I fired back at him and I said, tired? I look tired. I said, I want every single one of my people to be tired. They better be tired. Today and all the way through May 24th, I want them exhausted. I want them tired. And he laughed just like this, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that for this district. You may see us and you may say, man, they look a little tired, but that's because we're going to be working for you guys around the clock. We're going to be working hard.
Well, you mentioned something about your dad earlier. Some of the character things that you've learned from your mother and dad. Let's allude to that just a minute, because you said it off the air. I want them to hear it again.
Yeah, and he's only had to call me out on this maybe once or twice, but one of his rules was, you treat everybody like they're your boss, which is very ironic given I'm running for a congressional seat and I'm asking for 300,000 bosses, if not more.
Yeah.
And only once or twice after a phone call he had to say, Vimal, when you were talking, I didn't really quite get the feeling that the person on the other side was your boss. And it snaps me right back into reality because, like I said, we share our lives together. We share an office, a house, our family, everything together.
Well, the election is tomorrow. Polls open at 7 o'clock. For those other candidates who have the possibility of a runoff, that date is June the 21st, And with a victory tomorrow, Weimar will challenge the incumbent, and that would be
Barry Moore.
Barry Moore, and that election will be November the 8th.
That's right.
On a Tuesday. November the 8th, the second Tuesday in November. But I'm going to ask Hilton, or is there anything that you'd like to add?
No, I just want to. I want to thank Beamer, and his family, his immediate family, his in-laws, and his parents, even his cute little daughter Anya, which
Anya,
is.
Can you come up here for just a minute, please?
She is so precious.
Yeah, we got Anya coming up. She is a upcoming fourth grader at Houston Academy.
That's right.
Miss Anya Patel. Welcome to the show, Anya.
But
what is your favorite? Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
But yeah, we're just asking for your support tomorrow. Beamer Patel, I really feel like he can do some great things in D.C. And it starts with, he called it consensus, and that may be a good idea because no one really wants to talk about bipartisanship. But consensus is another form of bipartisanship, and hopefully that will be a lot more better received than bipartisanship. And so that he can work on the other side of the aisle to get things done for the people in District 2. But that's all I've got. Thank you.
Okay. Anya, how old are you?
I'm 9.
9. When's your birthday?
October 28th.
Well, my daughter is October 25th.
Wow.
But she'll be 23. Okay. Now, what are some of your favorite things in school that you like?
Recess,
Good question. I mean, good answer. What about physical education?
snack, lunch, and PE.
Yeah, we got to fix education. That's the number one thing we got to do.
Yeah. Anyway,
What I like about PE is not the running, but I don't know why. I like doing jumping jacks.
jumping jacks. Okay. Now, in your spare time away from school, what are some activities that you enjoy doing?
Painting.
Painting?
Oh, she loves painting, Coach, and I know we're limited on time, but I would tell you, I'm a trustee for the Wiregrass Museum of Art, and,
Okay.
and the first time that I took her there, she was like, Dad, I don't want to go here, because that was just the way she was thinking. I don't want to go there. Well, we went there, and something turned on that side of the brain. Art, it accesses a different part of the brain,
Right.
and that's why I told her we're going to go. It flipped a switch somewhere. So I have, in my monthly budget, I have to allocate money towards like painting supplies.
Good. There you go. Hey, I love it.
Yeah,
I
as a
love
matter
it.
of fact, one of your Facebook posts, you weren't you going to Sam's Club to get some
Yeah.
painting supplies?
I was, and see, there's a good advice there. Sam's Club is a great membership, and that's another reason to follow Vimo Patel for Congress. You'll get good advice, good financial advice.
Okay. All right. Well, let's look at those peanuts right there, if you will. One of our sponsors is the Pike Farmers Co-op. We got 3 types of peanuts. Turn around. We got regular roasted. We have I
Roasted,
believe,
salted.
Butter toffee, and we have
wanna raise
honey roasted.
Okay.
Anya, do you like peanuts?
Not really, but
Well, let Dad.
I love peanuts for both of us. I love
okay.
peanuts times 2, so I'm going with the honey roasted.
Okay. We'll pick you out one. Hilton.
All right, I'll go ahead and take advantage of I'll do the roasted salted
All right.
peanuts.
All right, let's see. Would Mother or Daddy like raw peanuts, or would they like the other box? Either one.
My father-in-law loves peanuts too.
All right, we'll take that in this.
Okay.
These are compliments of the Pike Farmers Co-op. 2 locations, one in Goshen, Alabama, where
That's
I'm
right.
from, and one in Troy, Alabama on US 231 South. That's where I do my shopping for seed and those kind of things. And but here's another gift.
Thank you, sir.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Vimal Patel and his lovely daughter Anya and his friend Hilton. Give me your last name again, Hilton.
Morgan.
Hilton Morgan.
Yes, sir.
The election is tomorrow. Polls open at 7 o'clock. Check Vimal Patel for the Democratic choice for the 2nd congressional spot for the United States House, Alabama District 2. It covers 15 counties. And if you were going to vote tomorrow, who would you vote for?
my dad.
That's right. Good choice.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah.
I mean it. This was very. I enjoyed seeing you again.
Sure.
It's been a long time. I told you. I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. We tried to get you on earlier, but I know you've been busy, and that's a great day to see your family.
Yes,
and I
sir.
know you. It's a proud day for the Patel family.
And for our community.
I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you the best.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay.
Yes,
Ladies
sir.
and gentlemen, Vimal Patel. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back after these messages.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Attention! Attention! PremierTroy.com. We want your trade. We'll buy your car. Whether you purchase a vehicle from us or not, pre-owned car values are at an all-time high. Trade your car for cash or a newer vehicle. It's your choice. Premier wants your car. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody!
Brundage Building Supply and Paint Center at Jackson Hardware. 120 years and counting of real customer service with a smile and a heartfelt thank you for visiting with us. PPE, lumber, paint, building supply and roofing, guns, ammunition, American-made items, and oh, by the way, hardware.
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy Paint and Body, where we do it right the first time. Our staff has more than 100 years combined experience and can handle repairs and paint work on any make or model. We also offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own your vehicle. Now that shows we stand behind our work. And our 24-hour towing service means we're here when you need us. So come see us at Troy Paint and Body, located on South Brundage Street in Troy beside the post office. Troy Paint and Body, where we may meet by accident, but you'll be glad we did.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Welcome back to Good News and Interviews with Forrest Lee. Ladies and gentlemen, we just had Vimal Patel on the show. The election is tomorrow, May the 24th. He's one of the Democratic nominees for the House of Representatives. He promotes small businesses and our military and education. So that was Vimal Patel. You can go to his website or Facebook, Vimal Patel for the House of Representatives, and Vimal Patel. Ladies and gentlemen, about a month ago, we went to Rutledge, Alabama, and we visited with the Sipper brothers. It was a great visit. They're two brothers who have an old home place there north of, not north, but near Rutledge, about three or 4 miles from Rutledge. And in their old home place, one of the brothers makes swings, and the other brother makes dobro guitars. He calls them Sipbros. And the one that makes the guitars, or the dobros, or the Sipbros, is Tommy Sipper. But he has a book out called Chapters of My Life, Humorous Stories of Real Life Situations. It's by Storyline Tommy Sipper. Happiness is a journey, not a destination. Just try to enjoy the trip. But this is Chapters of My Life. It's human stories of real life situations. And here's a good picture of them. It's copyright in 2005 by Tommy Sipper, and you can find this on Amazon and .com. You order your book. And I'm not sure what they cost. This one, I don't have a price on it, but he gave me one. But I want to thank him for that. And another story I want to share with you. We hope to be going to Crenshaw County, to the area of Brantley and Dozier. There's a couple of people we'd like to interview. Of course, we'd like to interview the mayor of Brantley, Mr. Bernie Sullivan, and we'd like to interview Coach Hawthorne of the state championship Lady Bulldogs. We've had Miss Casey Moore, the principal of Brantley, on the show before. But we'd like to do a little interview of some area celebrities or dignitaries or just some good old folks in that area. Also, there's a gentleman by the name of Lynn Johnson who played football at Dozier High School. He went on to Auburn University and played for the Auburn Tigers. Well, there's a story about Lynn and I. When I was in the 8th grade, I played football for the first time for Dwight Falk. Dwight was the football coach and Coach Falk. And as an 8th grader, I started in the spring jamboree. I was about 5'6", 5'7", weighed about 140 pounds. Well, across the line from me was a big old fella by the name of Lynn Johnson. He was an upcoming senior. He was probably 6'2", 6'3", 250, 260. And I was supposed to block him. So I can remember stay low. So I went for his ankles. And but anyway, I just was like a gnat to him. Well, about 6 or 8 months ago, I'm at the restaurant called Mossy Grove. And I'm in there talking, and somebody said, Lynn Johnson's out there on the front porch. I said, Lynn Johnson, the football player from Dozier? They said, yeah. So I went out there and met him. I was picking up something for Jody and I. Jody's my wife. And so I talked to him for a long time. And anyway, about 2 months ago, right past Sister's Restaurant, and I ate there today with Dan Smith, the recreational director, and his vice chairman of activities, David Dickey. We ate lunch there. But right past there on the way to Brundage is Hillside Antiques. It's run by the Genwright family. Well, about a month and a half, 2 months ago, I was in there, and there's this magazine, Auburn football program, when they played Georgia back in the 70s. And on the front are the Auburn Tigers, the seniors, and their football coach. And I said, I believe that's Lynn Johnson. Sure enough, it was. So I bought that program. Well, there's another one. Troy University program. Troy State, I believe when they played Jack State. And in that, I looked in Rock Island, Ronald Island, call him Rock, from Greenville. Well, I think he's originally from somewhere else. I forgot where. But anyhow, he lives in Greenville now. Well, he's in that program. So I bought 2 programs. I had Rock's address. I got his address, and I got the address for for Lynn Johnson from Bernie Sullivan through one of Lynn's daughters. Well, I mailed it to him, and my phone's ringing. Let me get off of that. So anyway, I mailed those football programs to Lynn Johnson, who played at Auburn, and to Rock Island, who played at Troy University. And a good friend of mine, Claude Giddens, is calling from LaGrange, Georgia. His son, Zach Giddens, is getting married this weekend. Gene Allen and Gene and Claude and I go way back from Troy University Physical Education. And some of our best instructors were Gene Hansen, who recently passed away, and Don Jeffrey. We also had Miss Virginia Watson, who's in heaven, and we had several more. Joyce Sorrell, we had Gracie Sowers, Nick Costes. But anyhow, Claude's son Zach is getting married this Saturday, and we're looking forward to going to that wedding. And we're supposed to play golf Friday in LaGrange, and they're playing golf. I'm hitting golf balls.
But anyway, that's a little bit of the story that has happened the last couple of days with us. But I want to mention our sponsors at this time. First, Home Gallery. I saw David Hams the other day. Home Gallery is located on Love Street. Their number is 670-0047. David and Sherry Hams. There's a story about olives, Dr. Peppers, and Mountain Dews that David would tell you about him and his two brothers. They would go to downtown Clayton and buy olives and a Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper, and they would share those items, and then they would drink the olive juice. So that's the story about David Hams. The next sponsor, Bryant Smith of State Farm. I've been a State Farm guy all my life and will continue to do so. And for all your insurance needs, see Bryant Smith on South Brunion Street and his staff. There are some wonderful ladies in there. State Farm Insurance. We also have Sticky Frogs, Miss Jennifer. She's located there in the Southland Village. And if you see my truck, it's plastered with stickers, and I want to thank Jennifer for that. She makes signs. She can make T-shirts, stickers, you name it, for all your sign needs. Ideas that stick, go to Sticky Frogs. Also, we have Raymond's Barber and Style Shop located here on South Brunion Street, and he styles my hair from time to time. Go see Mr. Raymond. Also, we have, as a sponsor, we have Lenny Trawick. You can get in touch with him, Facebook at Trawick Designs. He's on the square at Flat Tops and Fiddles, and he gives guitar lessons, I think 2 or 3 days a week, starting Monday and Tuesday. There's a young lady by the name of Kat Deal, one of his former students. She also gives lessons there at Flat Tops and Fiddles on downtown Troy. We have Douglas Brothers. I mentioned them earlier. They've been in business for over 150 years in Troy, Alabama. I want to thank Sheer Qualls and his staff for being a sponsor. We also have Brundage Country Club, Donnie Mobley and staff. They're right across from the Walmart shopping center. Not the Walmart shopping center, but the Walmart distribution center. And they're open every day of the week except Mondays. A great place to play golf. It's very economically priced, and it's a great staff, great atmosphere, and a beautiful place to play. Piggly Wiggly, 2 locations, one on 3 Knot Street and one on the bypass. The other day I dropped off a rum cake for Steve and Jennifer for being a sponsor, and wonderful people, and I want to thank them for being a sponsor. Piggly Wiggly of Troy. Also Golden Boy, they're located on the Henderson Highway. They manufacture all kind of peanut butter for people. Peter Pan's one of them, but Golden Boy, I want to thank you for being a sponsor. They're naturally better for your business. We have the Old Barn Restaurant. Jody and I eat there Sunday. It was home of the best steak and best catfish in Alabama. I think the best chicken at one time. But go see the Old Barn Restaurant at 484-3200. Open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it's open Sunday for Sunday dinner. Pond Stocker 2, Jim Mullis and Jet Trotter. For all your pond stocking needs, or they have the Pond Buddy, which is a fertilizing type mechanism. You can contact them at 372-4398. We also have Premier Dodge, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Troy. Great place to shop for used and new vehicles. They're on US 231 North. Go see Jason Gregory and his staff. I want to thank them for being a sponsor. Oh my, the Chicken Shack of Luverne. They were established in 1968. 335-6566, the Chicken Shack of Luverne. Wonderful. I want to thank Flowers Realty for being a sponsor. Contact them at 482-0393. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break for some more messages, and we'll be back with more of Good News and Interviews with Forrest Treeley.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Attention! Attention! PremierTroy.com. We want your trade. We'll buy your car. Whether you purchase a vehicle from us or not, pre-owned car values are at an all-time high. Trade your car for cash or a newer vehicle. It's your choice. Premier wants your car. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody!
Brundage Building Supply and Paint Center at Jackson Hardware. 120 years and counting of real customer service with a smile and a heartfelt thank you for visiting with us. PPE, lumber, paint, building supply and roofing, guns, ammunition, American-made items, and oh, by the way, hardware.
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy Paint and Body, where we do it right the first time. Our staff has more than 100 years combined experience and can handle repairs and paint work on any make or model. We also offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own your vehicle. Now that shows we stand behind our work. And our 24-hour towing service means we're here when you need us. So come see us at Troy Paint and Body, located on South Brundage Street in Troy beside the post office. Troy Paint and Body, where we may meet by accident, but you'll be glad we did.
Ladies and gentlemen, next week we're going to have Mac Lowry on the show. He has a new book out that you can get on Amazon. I believe it's titled, words to the effect, 8 Miles South of Troy. But it's about his time in Spring Hill and some of the adventures that he had as a young boy and some of the features of Spring Hill and the surrounding areas. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to again thank Flat Tops and Fiddles, Don and Jan Brown, for being a sponsor. They're located on the square for all your guitar needs. They have dobros and all kind of musical instruments. See Don and Jan Brown at Flat Tops and Fiddles. We have Abby Lee Photography. You can go to abbyleephotography.com, and for all your questions about photography, you can email her. She does weddings, and she does graduation pictures, wedding surprises, and all that kind of stuff, or engagement surprises. But Abby Lee Photography at www.abbyleephotography.com. We have Troy Bank and Trust, the only bank you'll ever need. They have multiple locations in the Southeast. I've been with them since I've been 17, 18 years old. I love Troy Bank and Trust. The next sponsor is Pipe Farmers Co-op. We've mentioned them. They have 2 locations, one in Goshen, Alabama, and one in Troy. The co-op was organized in 1936 in the state of Alabama. I want to thank them for being a sponsor. Our next sponsor is Chimney Sauces, www.chimneysauce.com. Take the leap and try this hot sauce. You'll love it. Next sponsor is Whaley Pecans, the best place to buy pecans. They have a gift shop, and I've recently visited them. You can get all kind of gifts, about not $100, but $1.50, $1.99, $2, $3, $4. You can just fill up a bag and give it to your secretary, to your wife, just a friend, a church family member. But they have a beautiful, wonderful selection of items there in their gift shop. They're located on Pecan Street. They've been in business since 1937. Whaley Pecans. We have Bird's Drugs. Mr. Joe Watson and the Daily Girls. Wonderful place. I love Bird's Drugs. Our next sponsor is Troy Paint and Body. Donnie, the founder of that, passed away not long ago. But I want to thank Derek and Dawn for being sponsors for all your paint and body needs. Go to Troy Paint and Body on South Brundage Street here in Troy. Jackson Hardware, Brian McDaniels is the owner. It's located on 111 South Main Street. They have a lot of nice hardware products for you to buy. They've got paint. It's a building supply and paint center. They have wood, all kind of stuff. But see Brian McDaniels there in Brundage, Alabama at Jackson Hardware. Been in business for over 100 years. Kelly Tires, Rex and Nail. There's one of my Kelly hats. When I need tires, if I need my front end lined up, I go see Rex Grant at Kelly Tires. They're located on Love Street. I want to thank them for being a sponsor. Our next sponsor is Signature Hair Design. Shirley and her staff, they style mine from time to time. They style Jody's hair. 566-7311. Signature Hair Design is located on South Brundage Street. We have the Kennedy Lodging and Events located in downtown Brundage. Go to thekennedy.com. They have a nice place that you can rent for weddings, for the weekends, family coming in, any kind of event. The Kennedy, downtown Brundage. Meeks Termite and Pest Control, located on South Brundage Street. Want to thank Greg for being a sponsor. His number's 566-1222. We also have another sponsor, Southern Grill and Patio. The Hartleys, they've moved from North 3 Notch to South Brundage Street in the old Troy Messenger. They have the Bean Green Egg. They have other grills. They sell these Bordeaux steak sauces made out of 100% ingredients. They have, of course, Town and Country Flooring's located there. Beautiful place. They've renovated it. Southern Grill and Patio. They also have Town and Country there. Their number is 770-0575. The Hartleys. Great place to get a floor or a grill or sauces. We have Kat Dill. We've already mentioned her. That's her number, 672-2265. She's a professional singer, and she also gives guitar lessons. Call Kat Dill for all your guitar needs. Pizza Palace, Miss Pretty Patel at 735-9555, located on Main Street in Brundage. They have all kinds of sandwiches and subs. Pretty Patel, Pizza Palace. We have Dan Fraley. I dropped off some things today. One thing that he did for me my wife and her sister sold their old home place. Well, there was a record hanging around called Haley and the Comets, Rock Around the Clock. Well, it rang a bell. Kevin Flowers, several years ago, lost a daughter, Haley, at a young age. And when I taught her in school, I said, Haley, how are your Comets doing? She had no idea what I was talking about. Well, Dan Fraley framed that record for me. And I took it to Kevin Flowers about a week ago. I said, Kevin, I want you to have this. And that was a gift. But I want to thank Dan Fraley and his son David for framing it for me. They have 2 locations, one in Troy, one in Enterprise. Fraley Frames. Ladies and gentlemen, our show, I want to thank Nate Braystead. He's in the booth. Young gentleman, he's in his sophomore year at Troy University. I want to thank him for being here tonight. I want to thank Troy Cable and the new ownership, C-Spire, for allowing me to be on the show. Our replays are on Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock at night, 9 till 10, and you can watch us there. There's my number on the screen if you would like to be a sponsor. That's how you can get in touch with me. Or if you would like to be on the show, email me or call me at that number, and I'd love to have you on the show. Next week we have Mac Lowry. Mac is a local preacher here. He's got 3 boys and several grandchildren. And he's got a daughter too, whose son, anyhow, he's got 4 youngins. And but he'll be on the show next week promoting his book that he just wrote, or it was just published. So stay tuned next week for Mac Lowry and his book titled, I think, 8 Miles South of Troy, or it's worse to that effect. I don't have the exact title with me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you again for joining us for Good News and Interviews. I want to thank Vimal Patel for coming, and his friend that was on the show, Mr. Hilton. And we'll see you next week on Good News and Interviews with Forrest Tree Lee. Let's have a great summer and a great week. See you next week.